Oh, yeah, go on.
Well, it's live. Hi, everybody. My name is Phil Beck, and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't you do that on live streams? I don't know. Like, share, and subscribe, whatever you want. I'm joined tonight by Jason Scott. Hello, Jason. How are you?
Greetings.
And the one, the only, the incomparable Noel from the TARDIS Zone.
How are you? Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
And to our shame, we are talking about Star Trek Picard, Episode 3, the end of the beginning, or the beginning of the end, or the end of the... I don't know. Who cares? It was awful. That's my pocket review.
Yeah. Do you want to give them a brief synopsis of what happened in the episode?
Fine. So yeah, let me go. I'm going to go through my notes. We start off with a flashback of Picard resigning from Starfleet, outside Starfleet. They don't pay for a new set or more extras, and he's with Raffi. His that's the first thing I hate about this. So he's going to see this person Raffi, who has an incredibly close bond with, and they fell out. Nobody knows, and nobody cares. You know, like you can't manufacture these relationships.
Yeah.
And relationships is what Star Trek is all about, I think. You know, if you pare it down, you go through every Star Trek show. You know, Next Generation, original series, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. It was every one of these shows is all about the relationship between these characters, about the how they support each other, and they love each other. You know, I think that was really the core. So, you know, it is interesting when you go back to it 20 years later to see where they are, but you can't just manufacture it, which is what they did here. Fine. So we start off with that, and they got Raffi. He tells Raffi that he offered him the resignation. And they take my resignation or this revised plan to save Romulus, and they said no, we're going to let Romulus die because we hate them because they have slightly different foreheads and ears from us. So we hate them and we want them to die.
Yeah, the Federation's become a big racist organization now. If you're not human, you're not welcome to the club anymore.
Right, and the reason they hate the Romulans is because 15 years earlier, robots blew up Mars. And that's really it. That's the rationale.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the first first bit of it. After that, we go to the real Vasquez Rocks, which is just like why was it like that was just so stupid. I hated that. And you have the thing that made me like rip my hair out. You had Raffi vaping away, and she's all pissed and damaged. This is not the 24th century.
Oh yeah, by the way, they smoke in this trek, they curse in this trek, and Picard just looks like a shadow of himself and is making mistakes. Look, for me, there's no continuity in the character. He says a lot of things that contradicts himself. By the way, we have an Irish EMH. We also have an Irish Romulan who actually called another Romulan a Northerner.
You're right. I got that.
Now, listen, what I'll say is that the dialogue, Jason always brings up the dialogue for Doctor Who. But Jason, I'd like to actually hear your opinion on the dialogue for this show, because I think it's absolutely terrible, actually.
What stood out to you in particular as being the worst?
Well, I mean, even the whole conversation that he had with the EMH, the captain with the EMH, the whole, like, this is Captain Picard, this is Admiral Picard, and giving this whole spiel. And then it's like the guy is just like, who cares? Deactivate EMH, and then he's just sitting there smoke. There's other parts of the dialogue as well. That the doctor, for example, that just turns up at the house, shoots a Romulan. I think the gun is on stun. No Romulan guns. And I was like, is this really happening? It's just the dialogue is not believable for me. It just doesn't have the same feel as dialogue that we're used to in Trek. And as well, again, I don't know if you've noticed, again, where's the sci-fi? Okay, we do get the Borg ship, but other than that, where is the actual sci-fi in this?
I mean, for me, I'm going to have to go with kind of a typical response for me, which would be, the dialogue didn't didn't kill. You know, this wasn't like a rehash of episode 3 from the last Doctor Who series, right? But I'm not saying the dialogue could definitely use some work. But here again, I think for me it just fell flat in terms of the casting. I mean, it wasn't, you know, I think some of the casting, it was tolerable. I didn't feel myself getting angry. You know, that's the sign of like, I hate this, is when I start getting angry, you know, but I didn't feel myself getting angry. Like I could watch, what's her face? Soji. I could watch her and she didn't make me angry, this time. I mean, I thought she was better.
I thought she was better this week, because you said we all agreed last week that she was a bit of one dimension. There was nothing about her, but there was a little bit about her this week. Again, there is some good little things, Jason, in this, isn't there? But it's wrapped around.
Well, see, but here's the thing. I mean, I've watched a lot of the classic series, but I wouldn't like wear the badge of a Trekkie, quote unquote. Right. I'm just a guy who is the show interesting and does it conform to what I consider to be the Star Trek universe, which I have a very limited range in terms of what I go back to the classic series, and then I don't really, for me, Next Generation didn't really conform to that. So I don't really, I'm not a big fan of Next Generation either. To me, the classic series was it. And so that's where I'm coming from. So everything is kind of compared to the classic series. And so for me, this was, I think this, here's the thing. There were some weak points in the dialogue, no question. I just think that the casting for me is what really sets us back. And it's more, I feel like the casting is on par with like, let's pull the actors that we were going to put in like, Hercules or Xena, let's call some of those guys up that we could have put in those shows, or I don't know, but that's where I'm coming from. It doesn't seem like this is definitely not blockbuster acting, and maybe if that's what they were going for, they definitely failed.
Yeah, I agree with Rebecca Gold. This is not Trek. It's not. Even Picard, he's not the same character. I don't see. Here's the thing: it'd be believable if, as Rabbi said, we got a kind of a flashback, but that's not good enough. I'm sorry, a flashback doesn't build up to where he is today. They should have done this for the fourth series. In all fairness, we should have had a whole series leading up to the second series, and then you see him breaking from Starfleet. This just doesn't seem believable. And the way Starfleet is actually acting, they're acting like this. They've turned to like if it was Star Wars, they turned to the dark side. They're like a militia now. They're like, if you're not human, well, forget about the rest. They're like a bunch, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, they're like a bunch of bloody Nazis now. Nazis of the 24th century. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right. Well, okay, so let's talk about it. This is the thing that really, the thing that was really upsetting me about this is, and this is the first episode I got upset with Picard, because I wasn't. So this is the worldview of the people making it. They think 9/11 happened, and I think the synth attack is an allegory to 9/11. And I think because 9/11 happened, the racists in America became emboldened to be anti-Muslim, right? That's why there's all this like push against Islamophobia, and the rest of the people were too scared of radical Islam to protest the racists, and the racists eventually took over, which is what they think. This is the world they think they're living in now. They think Donald Trump and Brexit is an expression of racists taking over government, taking over the world, and the path they got there is because of 9/11, and it's so freaking offensive. It's like that is. I mean, again, it basically goes down to the conspiracy theory that 9/11 was orchestrated by Mossad to get favor against the Muslim countries around Israel. It's pure anti-Semitism. This conspiracy theory, which this show is based on, while it's screaming about how racist the world is. The racism in this is the delusion that they're writing this around. It's just vile.
Well, I agree. I guess for me that, I can see how that would definitely distract you and catch your attention and kind of upset you a little bit. I can see how that would be a sticking point. For me, I can see that. I guess for me I didn't get so bound up in that. For me, what's distracting is watching Picard struggle on the screen to actually play Picard. He's like the shadow of the old Picard.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to just overlook that. I can't really get beyond that. And for anyone who says this doesn't feel like Star Trek, it really doesn't feel like Star Trek. This just feels like a show that has some Star Trek trappings that they have that they've sprinkled around with Patrick Stewart playing. And this is like I don't know. Like I said, it's starting to feel like some Firefly, I don't know.
Video, right? And another thing as well, do you remember when you're in when the agents came to the house and just the big shootout and the fighting scene? Even after you look at poor Patrick Stewart and he looks like he's half dead. This is horrible. This is horrible because of him, because he's such a great talent. And unfortunately, age has gotten the better of him.
Yeah, I don't think he's acting old. I think he really is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is a shame. Like, the show could still work if he was playing a less physical role in it, but it looks like they want him to run around in this, and he's actually doing fighting scenes. Now, I know people say, there's probably stunt doubles there. That's fine, fair enough, but he still has to do a limited amount. You know what I mean? He's 80 now. You know what I mean? Give him a break.
Yeah, even the running up the stairs in the first week was like, it was too much for him. I felt bad for him.
Well, but look, if they wanted him to be written as this older man who can handle it, obviously that's not the way they're going. They're writing him as an older man who's an older man who can't handle it. They're not trying to pass him off as like this old dude who's capable of. No, it's just like, dude, he took a gun in the fight scene and was able to defend himself, or at least defend them as well. But it's obvious he's not in the show. They're not writing him as a physically capable older man. So they're kind of writing him probably as he is. Which is an older guy who just can't. It's just hard to listen to him talk. He just his words come out like molasses, and it's really just difficult to get past that. Now, if he were fluid in his speech, if they could somehow, through digital technology, make him speak fluidly, and they could, somehow make him look younger, and it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's not even his looks. That doesn't help. But just the way he acts. To me, that's a pretty big sticking point. And the other one is it doesn't feel like Star Trek, and it doesn't help that the cast is, they're subpar. They don't really add any value to any of it.
I mean,
except for the one guy we've talked about, Narek.
Yeah, he is an interesting character. But Chris brings up a great point there. He said, I thought Gene created this world where society had moved away from, as Kirk described it, colorful metaphors. Exactly. This has gone backwards. This show has regressed. If you watch this series now, you think there'll be progression. There's not. This show has regressed. It's like as if Starfleet has gone back to when Starfleet was probably for Starfleet, when they weren't as tolerable. But they're worse now. Like, it's
right.
I just don't know. It's sad to see Patrick Stewart on the screen struggle, and be under no illusion, this man is struggling.
Yeah. I guess, listen, they just thought Patrick Stewart would bring people in, and and they thought this would make their network, and no, it just didn't.
Do you know what? This is a mad idea. Do you know what I would have loved? Right? I would have loved them to get William Shatner, Picard together to do a one-off show where the both of them had to team up. I know in the movies, in Generations, he died and all this, but they could figure it out. Bring the two of them back. They're older, right? But bring them back. They're older, and they have to go on one last mission, and the whole series is based on that. It would have been much better. It's just they're trying all these new concepts, right? Here's the problem I have, right? This would work if it didn't have Patrick Stewart in it. This would work.
Yeah, you're right. That's really sad.
Yeah, this would
Oh,
work.
that's really sad.
Yeah, this would work if it hadn't got the Trek name as well. And
Yeah.
but the biggest thing is this would actually work without Patrick Stewart in it. You could get someone else to play the lead that isn't Patrick Stewart, and you didn't have to call it Picard. You could have called it Star Trek something, and you probably would have got away with it. But the fact that you wrote Patrick Stewart into it, that's why fans actually dislike it.
Right.
Unfortunately, we have to say he's that this is why it's not working. He's in it. If he wasn't in it, we probably wouldn't be as critical. We'd say, yeah, it's a half decent sci-fi show, but we'd still have complaints. But because
you'd still have to get somebody though whoever you get as the lead character would have to actually be watchable. I mean that's what it would come down to for me.
True, I agree with you.
Yeah, but listen,
but that guy, what's his name again? That Romulan again, Eric?
Yeah.
Why not base the show around him? Why didn't they base the fucking thing around him? Because he looks like an interesting character. Again, this week he wasn't on the screen that much, but when he was, he's just look at here's the sad thing to say. He's probably the best that they have actually on screen. And
absolutely, he totally is.
We've got the great Patrick Stewart, but yet he's being overshadowed by this young lad, this Romulan that we don't know much about. But
we know he's a sister. Yeah, he knows the brother of the.
We know he's up to so. We know he's on that mission,
right?
Seducing your woman, and his sister turned up, and that was a bit creepy. That scene, but yeah,
that was creepy.
Yeah, they do that though, don't they, in shows like that now, don't they? They have this kind of awkward sexual chemistry between siblings that shouldn't be there.
They have awkward sexual chemistry wherever there shouldn't be awkward sexual chemistry. Because the people basically Hollywood is full of degenerate perverts who have no idea of how to have a relationship with a human being. That's why it comes out in like these like weird, just like progressive like checklists. It's Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean I agree. They're pretty degenerate. I guess for me though, the thing that kind of made it interesting, that made me curious about the show, was that it did have Picard in it. That Patrick Stewart was going to be a part of it, and I think everyone was, including me. Even though I'm not the biggest, Picard fan, I mean, I was rooting for the guy. That's the thing, is I was really rooting for the guy.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's saying you can, everyone refers to him as the quote unquote the great Pat. Well, he used to be great. He's not great anymore.
No, and that's the only reason why I wanted to watch this, because I knew Patrick Stewart was going to be part of it, and I actually thought it was going to be a continuation to the Next Generation. But of course, he quickly told us that it wasn't going to be. It was going to be something completely different. And he's right about that anyway. It is something completely different. But unfortunately, and he won't admit this to himself, he just doesn't have it anymore. And, it's got to do with his age, and it does catch up on us all, unfortunately. If this was 10 years ago, this show was on 10 years ago, this would have been perfect for him. But not, obviously, it would have been a different type of show, I reckon, if it was 10 years ago. But if you hadn't done something like this 10 years ago, would have got away with it.
But to his credit, though, I have to say they probably spent a lot of money wooing him in, and they had to talk like a Dutch uncle to get him to take the role, because he had a lot of conditions and he really didn't want to do it. So I think they had to really throw a lot of bait out there to get him on board. And so I don't think he was really I don't think he was originally all for it anyway.
No, he wasn't. You're right. That's actually all true. He had to be talked into it, and he did have certain conditions. It'd be interesting. I think he wanted more creative control as well, which is fair enough.
Well, you can see that, can't you? Really?
It's such a shame, because it is his character, and you think he'd understand his character more than anybody else because he's played it. But if you're watching this iteration, you think the guy never played the character before. That's the way it comes across to me.
They're just playing him so different.
Picard. Something happened Picard. This isn't Picard. Maybe the Locutus side of him or something is coming to the fore or something. Maybe that's what it's all going to be about. Wait, you see. You probably bring in the Borg again, and he ends up turning into computers or some mad shit like that. Wait, you see, I can see it happening, man.
Well,
But then he won't have to do much then because he'd be a cyborg. So,
well, I think was it Red Letter Media? They really hit the nail on the head. They just took things that they know everybody knows about Star Trek. So people know about Borg, people know about Picard, people know about Vasquez Rocks. They know about the Star Trek logo, and they know about Starfleet, and that's really all they have. Oh, they know about Data, right? So that's it. That's all they really know, and they just put it all together and they go, well, that's good enough. You know, no one's going to notice that we fundamentally changed the universe that it's set in. And the truth is, there aren't that many people who really care. Like the Drekkies are all like, well, it's got Star Trek written on it, so who cares? You know, just people like us who actually care about Star Trek go, what? This isn't Star Trek.
it's a shame.
Well, you would think though that the people that they're trying to appeal to, the Star Trek fans, would be people who are knowledgeable. Because if you're not a big Star Trek fan, if you're not into the Trek universe, you know, whether you're going to watch it or not is questionable. You know, they're throwing, because look, Star Trek is an empire, really. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're not really a fan of Star Trek, you know, it's questionable whether you're even going to bother. Now, if you're a fan, it's like, at what level of fan are you? And I would suspect a lot of people who are going to watch this are people who probably have some history of Star Trek. I mean, I have a little bit, but I'm not by any means a quote unquote Trekkie. You know, so
but it doesn't matter. The show is the show again, like Doctor Who. They're trying to appeal to people like you that probably have seen a few series of Star Trek, but wouldn't class yourself as a Trekkie, right? But the thing about it is, again, and I no disrespect to people that only watch it like casually, you should be pandering to the people that have been watching it for their whole lifetime. That's where you get your audience.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you didn't watch Next Generation, what appreciation are you going to have for Picard, and what is that going to mean for you? Because the way they're building this up for people who are just casual viewers, maybe you've seen a few episodes of the classic series. Like, where are you coming from then? If you're not a Trekkie, like, who are they appealing to then? Because to me, when you throw the name Picard out, if you look at the trailer. Yeah. Who are they really appealing to? Because for someone who's just like a casual viewer, like that watching him on screen, like I wouldn't think a casual viewer go, I need to watch that. I need to see that. Look at that old dude playing that cool part. That just doesn't, I don't know that would, I mean, I'm just saying, to me, I don't know that would really resonate with those they're trying to drag in.
I know, but I honestly think that's what they're doing, Jason, and that's why I think there's a miscalculation.
Well, that's just a huge fail, because
I think was it Colin P. Smith had put his finger on it right here. Is they don't understand fandom. They know they got a valuable thing. They know got Star Trek, which is a valuable thing, and they know people watch it, and they just don't understand why people watch it. But they know people do watch it, so they're gonna go. Well, obviously, the people who used to watch it, they're just a small little weird group of, you know, people who live in their mother's basements. We want to make it a much more mass thing. So we're just going to aim, we're not going to really bother about the fans of what fandom cares about. We're going to do a show which we think people will want to see.
Yeah, but
of course they're completely wrong.
Yeah, but think about it for a minute.
They do service the fans a little bit, because they always throw in, I mean, we got Data, obviously, like they do throw in the little member.
They didn't plan to do any of that stuff. All that stuff was forced on them when it got delayed. Like, apparently this show was not the licensees wouldn't sign off on it. Wouldn't sign off on it until they put in a ton of member bearers.
Yeah.
Here's why I tend to disagree, though. Because if they were trying to look, Doctor Who, what was their attempt? What was their effort based on that told us they were trying to attract these millennials or a younger generation? Because that's the people who we're talking about, really. It's, you know, we're talking about maybe younger generation. Who is it in Doctor Who, for example, that in terms of casting, that they feel would have brought in a younger audience? Well, they picked younger people to play the part.
Yeah. They did.
And in this case, they're picking a guy who's almost 80 years old. So to me, that makes no sense. I mean, Picard is a name that you would link with Next Generation, which goes way back. So yeah, I think they've miscalculated in terms of,
But Jason, can I ask you, do you think Picard is actually the lead, or do you think it's this girl? Because if you were to look at her so far, I'd say she seems to be even though it has the Picard name, it seems to be just all, it's going to be all about her. So they
it's a yeah. I mean, she's
there, you know what I mean?
She's a huge element, but so far I mean, the focus has really been on him and his attempt to track her down, and it primarily.
Yeah, but that's to get us on board. You see, they think they're being clever. That's to get fans like us on board because we think it's going to be all about him, and then bang.
No, I think eventually it probably will, but at this point, I think it's primarily about him and his. I mean, yes, they're throwing her in there. You're obviously getting this sense of she is the other protagonist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from my point of view, Picard is kind of the centerpiece, and she is sort of this in the. I don't want to say periphery because she's not, but she's kind of to his left or to his right. She's not the center and he's to the left. To me, it struck me as he's kind of center and she's a little to the left, or, either side. That was my take on it. And here's the thing, from my perspective as a person who's just a casual viewer, I mean, so far the story, maybe it doesn't conform to Trek canon, but the story so far, I can see how it could probably pick up and be turned into something engaging, because the questions I'm asking are questions such as, okay, she doesn't realize what she is. They're calling her the Destroyer, which obviously she's her part in this is going to be pretty profound. Obviously,
well, yeah, they asked, which sister are you? Are you the Destroyer? Or are you the Savior or something? There was two of them, so one of them is the evil one, and one of them was obviously not the so evil one. So we've got to figure out now as an audience: is she the evil one?
She's the evil one. She's the evil one. There's no, because they wouldn't kill the evil one, and then there's no what is left.
Exactly. Yeah, right. That's why she's being all nice now, but there is little glimpses. She did fight all those in the first.
When she activates, when she's going to activate, which is what they said originally about what's her name, Daj? Yeah, she's activated.
Yeah.
Which to me, if you're activated, I thought that meant like, oh, she knows who she is. She's, no, apparently not. But
and that stepmother of hers, every time she rings her stepmother, she gives her these keywords that make her deactivate or something or fall asleep. Because remember, she was talking to the stepmother and she fell asleep. She started talking about the other sister. Oh yeah, she's fine. She's talking about getting a dog, and the next of all, she got face plants on the bed. I was like.
Right, that must be some kind of programming she's got, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. The certain keywords that activate are obviously violent side, and then there's certain keywords that activate are to shut her down, basically. It's, I don't know. The Romulan is more interesting to me anyway right now.
Right.
But I do think, though, if they... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go.
No, I was just going to say, look, this is where a good cast comes into play, because if you have a good cast, the story that they've kind of built this around, like I said, even though it doesn't conform to Trek canon, and it's, it does strike me as peripheral to the Trek universe. It's just sort of very loosely based on Star Trek. But nonetheless, the meat and potatoes of what they're trying to get across, I kind of understand that. And so I can appreciate it, but I think it's totally brought down by their casting, which, for me, that just draws me in. I have to, I need good casting. It's wasted on this cast, because I think if you had a good cast, they could really, I mean, she's so far, Soji, I forget her actor's name, but Soji doesn't, she's not the best. She's not the worst. She's okay at this point.
Yeah.
And so
it's all right, basically very soap opera level actors.
Yeah, she's doing enough so far, but that's even not enough. Again, it's like the Doctor Who effect. This show, Trek, it has its name. It's an institution. It you need good actors, in the role, or you at least need good stories. So far, none of this is happening. None of it. There's interesting concepts, as I said to you, Rabbi, off air, but I mean, even there, as the are being over, some of the cast in this is ridiculous. I mean, the Irish EMH annoys me, because it's just one of those shitty Irish American accents, and it just grates me skin. It just rubs me up the wrong way.
Right.
And she going around, she slaps the Romulan, and she said, "Oh, he's stubborn, he's a northerner." And I was like, "Are you serious?" Then there's the sunglasses. By the way, Rhett, they wear sunglasses now. Just thought I'd try that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like Retnox 5, but yeah, I think the whole line about the Northerner, I just think they're so clueless. They didn't realize they're referencing the Troubles. You know, I just don't think they realized it at all. They just thought, oh, this is giving us a little bit of like depth and texture. You know, it's just stupidity rather than malice.
Yeah, that's one thing that's missing from the script and the actors.
Yeah. I actually say one of the things that really annoyed me, which is stupid, was the use of the Next Generation theme tune at the end. I was like, that was so undeserved and so shouldn't have been used.
When he beamed onto the ship at first, they played it first there, and I was like, why are they playing the Next Generation music when that's not even the Enterprise? What a bun! I even shouted out
because because he had a flashback. He was feeling nostalgic, you know, from his tenure on, and he was on the bridge of a ship. That's kind of what they were trying to get across, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was undeserved, but I you know, if I had to think about it, that's what I think they're.
No, yeah, spot on, and I do agree with you. It was undeserved because,
I think before they had to go back and like retool the show, I think Picard's main role was to apologize to women for men. Yeah, because he's right now his basic function is to be told that it is to be screamed at by a bunch of women and to apologize a lot.
Yeah, he's a whipping post.
Yeah, I really think that was what the show was. You know, there's a fascinating book out there which shows you, which one day will write what this show was going to be, how bad it was going to be, and how it was rescued, and how it still wasn't that good. Did you ever see that book? There's a good coffee table book on Star Trek Phase 2, the aborted sequel series from '76, I think. They made a bunch of it into Next Generation episodes. But it'll be that sort of thing. You know, it's oh my God.
How it was almost saved in the edit.
Yeah, how it's almost saved, but it wasn't. You know,
Right.
there's just because they just wrapped up in this insanity that they've been in. They're in a world that's been taken over by Nazis. That's their every waking thought, and that's all they care about.
Well, and the salvation and the salvation in that universe are women.
Oh yes, of course. The stunning and brave.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have to be. You know, it has to be women all the time now for some weird reason because they're the best ever.
Yeah, but again, they can't put anybody other than a woman in a
commanding position. Position
right.
of authority.
But they always have them being useless in them as well. Why? Useless or evil?
Right. Right. How's that working out for you?
No, for me, not so good. Not so good.
I mean, in that universe, it doesn't seem like it's working out for them either.
Right. And, you know, I've always wanted there to be a Star Trek show which is out of the Federation, and it's like a Star Trek Firefly, which this is looking like it's kind of supposed to be. They have this Captain Reyes, who's kind of like, the scuzzy ex-Starfleet. I see Renegades. You ever seen Star Trek Renegades?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So this is essentially Star Trek Renegades.
Yeah. With the rogue crew. Yeah, it's a rogue crew. That's what it probably is. They probably ripped off some of the premise off that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And it makes me like so upset that Star Trek used to have all these great fan films being made all the time. And as my cleanser for watching this episode, I went to watch Star Trek: Oh Gods and Men, which isn't great in any way, shape, or form. And it definitely needs to. It was made like 7-8 years ago, maybe more. And it definitely needs to be remastered. The special effects are just like excruciatingly awful. But what it does have is it feels like Star Trek. It's something that actually I liked it because it just felt like I was watching Star Trek again, which this doesn't. And I can see why they shut down the fan films, because they're going to put this direct to show.
Well, the fan film that I seen that they had a problem with, you remember the one that had the lawsuit?
Oh yeah,
Well, I got to watch it before obviously all the stuff kicked off with it. That felt more like, and they actually got old cast. This is what's great about these fan movies. They're able to attract some of the old cast into these, and very, very good. This is why they're trying to shut these. I agree with you. They're trying to shut these fan films down because these fan films are actually giving the fans what they want.
Right, and
Right.
if CBS were out this, if they had any sense, they would say you can make fan films, but they can only be for our platform. Yeah, if they were smart, what's that film? The one that shut them down about the Romulan War, no, the Klingon War.
I can't pronounce it.
An Axanar, right?
That's
if they were smart,
yeah.
They would bankroll an Axanar. It'll probably cost them like under $5 million.
Yeah,
and they'll put it out like tomorrow, and at the same time putting this Drek out, and they would have people go to their channel.
Yeah, I think they've already got the money up for the next one. So I don't know how they're going to go about that, because I know they tried to stop them from releasing the first one, or they had to take it down. A lot of people got to see it though, but then there was a big reaction. Then I think they got to put it back up again, but they had to make a few revisions to it for somewhere, because they have to be assholes about a CBS. But I think they've got. I was looking at something yesterday. Apparently, I think they've got the money up for the second one. So I don't know. So
they should just set it in the Orville universe at this point. Just put everything in the Orville universe.
Or CBS could use their heads, as you said, and actually get on board with it and have this as a different, different part of the universe. Why not?
Yeah, or just have an alternate take. You can have you have multiple Earths. People understand of multiple realities. They especially Trekkies. There's not going to be any problem with that.
I know.
But again, they just want to silence anything that's not theirs, which is and it's so stupid.
Well, I think, for me, like I said originally in this last stream that we did, for me, the really the draw of the show before I came into it cold. I didn't read anything. Yeah. Okay. I was like cold. I had no concept of what this was going to be. I didn't read any interviews with Patrick Stewart. I had nothing. All I had was, okay, Patrick Stewart's in a Star Trek series.
Yeah.
This is going to be Picard, right? We're going to see Picard in a Star Trek series. What am I expecting? I'm expecting to see Picard renew his captainship on some Enterprise, and how is that going to happen? Now that's what I was expecting. Now if they had done that, that's what I was. Now I didn't know about any conditions, and that his condition was we weren't going to have an Enterprise. I didn't know about any of that. My concept was, now how is he? That's, I wasn't a Picard fan necessarily, but I am curious now, how is that going to play out? Because they're portraying it like here's an old dude who's retired, making, growing grapes, making wine in the vineyard, right? How is he going to go from retired old dude to he's back on the bridge in some Starfleet Enterprise doing his thing again?
Do you know what, they'll probably bring that back for Sirius too. Because that's what they normally do. They normally
they kind of like backtrack.
They always backtrack. Look what they did with Doctor Who, Jason. He Chibnall backtrack. They always backtrack. I wouldn't be surprised.
But by the way, those new Cybermen look fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
The new Cybermen I saw on the Doctor Who trailer, they look fantastic. They look.
They actually do.
They did a good job.
They are so superior to the Doctor Who they're going to be in. I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I really like the design. The design is really on the money.
I did it on the stream. Those Cybermen actually do. They look amazing.
And it's unfortunate they're wasting it on that incarnation.
Yeah. So there you go. We can actually say something positive though. But those Cybermen, I'm telling you, those Cybermen do look epic. It's a cross between classic Davison. You've got a bit of the RTD era in there as well.
Yeah, but the faces are very invasion and
And also, did you notice they have spikes on them as well?
I didn't see that. That's cool.
Oh, they have spikes on their shoulders. It actually looks impressive, man. Looks impressive. I'm actually looking forward to seeing them in the episode, but we know it's gonna be muck. But I just want to see them, because to see the Cybermen on the screen, to see what he's done with them. One thing I will say is by first impressions, this looks like the best redesign of the Cybermen so far in New Who. Well, obviously.
Yeah, but they're going to have Jodie Whittaker in it, and they'll just destroy
That's
it.
why I say it's wasted.
Yeah, so you're right. It's all down to casting. Yeah, I was just thinking that scene at the beginning with Raffi. In fact, this whole plot line with Raffi.
Yeah.
Imagine how much better that would have been if that was Geordie, and they had somehow fallen out, and you knew these people were close, and there's this and you see Geordie. Then it would have like some real emotional resonance. I'll be like, wow, I want to know what happened.
I agree with you 100%. That would have made more sense because we wouldn't have needed any background because we had the background through Next Generation and the movies. So we know there's an established relationship there. I agree with you, but these people, as you know, they're not clever. They're not clever as us. They wouldn't think of something like that. They think, well, just putting them in as a cameo is good enough. Do you know what I mean? We'll just throw a member berry at the Trek fans. That's it. But there's no intelligence behind it. That would be a great idea. If that had been those two in the flashback, that would have had more resonance. And actually, him actually helping Picard would have actually had more. But again, there's still so many things wrong with this. Even if you had Geordie LaForge there's still a lot wrong with this episode.
Yeah, it's true.
For me, it's kind of, it reminds me a little, well, there's some senses of this that remind me, like elements of it that remind me on it, and not related to story or anything, but there's just certain characteristics that I'm going to toss out the name Lost in Space, because for me, there was some interest in, okay, what's going to happen? But at the same time, I wasn't drawn in by the characters per se. I thought the special effects were really good.
Yeah.
And
they are. They're fantastic.
You've got so the parallel here for me is special effects are really good. The story, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. But I think that the real drawback for me, like I've said, is casting. And if you had a good cast, something like that, the interaction between Picard and Raffi, I could forgive the backstory if you had an actor who could really make you believe that there was okay, this is a real person, and I can really sympathize and feel that this person is really struggling with they're really distraught. They're really upset. And you can sense that this is a real reaction as opposed to, I can see you acting. I can see.
Right. Yeah, you're 100% correct.
You're right, because that scene where he goes and meets her in the middle of the desert there, and she basically tells him to turn around, get away, I don't want to know. Right. And you're thinking, yeah, that's how you would react. And then he turns around, he has the bottle of wine over his shoulder, and then she says, is that a 87 or whatever the date of the wine is? Goes, yeah. Then they sit there, and then he says, oh, there's a Romulan secret bleeding yolky happening. And she goes, right, tell me more. And then they have a drink, and then she has a hissy fit and fecks off. She's sitting on this crate. He goes over like the feeble old man he is. I need your help. You're the best brain that we have. And I'm like, I'm looking at Picard and I'm saying, how did you become so indecisive? How did you become so idiotic? Because she even says in a line, why would you go to the Admiral of Starfleet if you were going to do so? And that's what I was actually thinking. Why would he go to them and say it to them if he's going to go then and go and he's looking for a ship? He tells them that he wants to go on one last secret mission. He tells Starfleet, who basically accepted his resignation, who basically didn't listen to, basically blamed them on everything that's happening in the universe right now. And then he goes and tells them the whole plan. The Picard of old wouldn't even went to Starfleet. He wouldn't have went to Starfleet and told them his plan. That's what he.
Right. I mean, in fact, actually, that we saw that in what's that movie, Insurrection, which I quite liked. I now want to watch that movie again.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I like those. The Next Generation.
You know,
but they're good. I like them. Nemesis, I like. Nemesis gets a lot of stick, but I gotta pick up for it. I like Nemesis.
Nemesis was okay, but it was like you know what? The trouble with Nemesis, I fall asleep in it every time I watch it.
It does get boring in parts, but I did like. I don't know what it was about Nemesis. It's my dirty little what do you call that? My dirty little movie. Not the way everybody has their own little movie you don't like telling people. Well, that's my movie. But I don't mind telling people now. But yeah, I like Insurrection. I like the idea of it. But even that movie, even though a lot of people have hate for that movie, people will still say that movie was a Trek movie. It still felt like Star Trek. You watch this show,
yeah, absolutely.
You watch this show now, and it's just there's nothing. It's just as I said, you take Picard out of this, and you've basically still got the same show. You just put another lead in, and call it something else. And
you know what?
Have a mediocre show, but could improve after the series. I mean, how many of these is there going to be? Because he's
10.
What?
There's 10 episodes in the season.
No, I mean, how many? How many has he? I know we're doing the second season. How many more seasons is he doing?
Listen, right now, the news is that CBS All Access is going to merge with a Viacom streaming service, so that'll probably give it another year or two. But I just don't know how long these things can go on and not make any money, not attract an audience, and they can keep putting $10-15 million into an episode. I just don't. It's amazing to me that they sustained it this long. It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
They're doing a third season of Discovery, which, I think it gets 200,000-300,000 viewers.
Yeah,
I just don't understand how they can make it.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if it goes on, right, we know there's a second season, and then it goes on for a third one, right? I guarantee you by the end of it all, they'll kill him off anyway.
If they can kill him off in the next episode, that'll be much better for me.
Well, the thing is, Picard actually has the rating isn't abysmal on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it gets a passing score by the audience. The audience score is passing. On IMDb, it actually got a really good rating. I think it's, I personally, I think people have their standards are a little bit lower than our standards here on the panel. But I will say it's being received a lot better than Discovery, which I've seen.
Well, yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, I've seen enough of Discovery to know I didn't want to see it.
I think that's why people are probably drawn to this. I think that's why people might be drawn to Picard a little bit more, because Discovery is the complete shit show. Whereas, let's be honest here, we have all said on the panel, there is some interesting things going on in here. It's just you just can't, as people would say, you just can't polish a turd.
Right. Although I think if you really that's a really good comment that you took Picard out of it, right, and you just made it all set on the Bull Cube, and you had the whole Romulan in Exodus thing.
Yeah.
That's a show I want to see. That sounds interesting.
But here's the thing, Rabbi: if they took Picard out of it, you know who they would put in it, don't you? They wouldn't put a man.
No, the lead would be a female antagonist, because she'd have to be.
Right,
And not only that, she'd be all masculine as well, and written like a man, even though she's a woman, and she'll be written like a woman and have feminine features and be feminine. But
they would pick Batwoman.
Yeah, I guess so. Although, one thing that I'm sure was shoehorned in and is totally unnecessary is Hugh, the guy he was in one episode of Next Generation, Hugh Borg.
Yeah, he appeared in Voyager quite a lot.
He was in Voyager?
Yeah, Hugh appeared in Voyager. Yeah,
sure. Not Hugh. Hugh. The guy in charge of the Borg reclamation project on the Borg cube.
He's the guy that led Soji to the interview or to the
that guy.
I know who you're talking about.
So he was essentially an extra in one episode of Next Generation, playing a Borg that was
that's right.
Yeah, Hugh. And it's like they clearly put him in to tie it into Next Generation. And he was a mediocre extra actor in 87 or whatever it was, 92 or whatever. Now it's 20 years later, 30 years later, he probably hasn't acted professionally in 15, 20 years.
But isn't that the story with all of these types of series? They're picking guys who in 15, 20, 25 years ago would have probably been an extra, if that.
Yeah,
That's the level of casting we're at right now.
You're actually right. You're right. And if you look at Doctor Who, it seems to be the same trend.
Yeah.
That's spot on, actually. I never thought of it that way, but that is actually true. I even forgot who Hugh was until you talk. Remind me, is that the Borg that was the nice Borg?
That's the one, exactly, that they gave
right.
the virus to. That was what then they brought the Borg back and they were really not very good.
Right.
they lost everything that was the
I
interesting.
remember who he is now. Yeah. He was
totally pointless addition.
But even a character like Soji, for example, if you were to say teleport her back somehow, some way, put her in a time machine, send her back, and cast her in the original Star Trek, she would have been the girl like walking past the door as like William Shatner enters the room. There would have been no
exactly.
It just blows my mind that they think this is the actor. This is the level that we need to be at. I mean, there's no one else out there that really. I mean, if you're gonna have an agenda and you're gonna try to shove that crap down my throat, at least pick somebody who can do it with some charisma.
Yeah,
the only thing they care about is the agenda.
Exactly.
Nothing else.
These people let these writers and directors do whatever the hell they want because, as Rabbi said, it's all about agenda. Now, what baffles me is that the money, right? I thought companies were all about making money. There's no way that this show is making enough money to even justify a second season anyway. It's the same with Doctor Who. There's no money being made on that series either. There's no justification for it to carry on, but for some weird reason, these shows carry on. So you've got to ask yourself, how are they able to carry on without making money is what I would like to ask. Because
fine. I can answer that question for you. It's because how we've set up corporate business structure. That is, they don't really need with these sort of massive franchises. They don't really need to have any real success, and everybody is compartmentalized enough that nobody can take accountability for a project fail. Let's say a product fails. There's no accountability because there's like in the accounting department, there's no way of quantifying that. There's like saying they can't understand. They sometimes they succeed, sometimes they fail. They succeed more if we put in Picard or do this, and this, and we did everything right and it didn't succeed. So it's just one of those things. There's no accountability for failure.
Well, and with Doctor Who, the BBC doesn't have to answer to anybody. They're collecting money for license fees, so it's not like they're they don't really who are they answering to?
They don't need to justify themselves to anybody right now.
They're starting to split the BBC. They're worried they're going to have the license fee cancelled, and they just raise the license fee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last thing they need is have pressure on them for like wasting taxpayer money on propaganda, which is essentially what Doctor Who is, badly.
Well, I still think that's not going to stop them. I mean, they're so, man, these people at the top are so committed to this ideology that it doesn't matter
to it until they have to pay for it. Until again, if they privatize the BBC, which there is a big movement to do now with the Conservative government, if they privatize. The only reason Big Finish, who do the Doctor Who audios, generally put out a good product is because they're a commercial business and they know they can't do this bullcrap.
Well, Rabbi, here's the thing, though. I mean, you live in Israel, right? But here in America, we have, it's a free market, and we still get this crap shoved down our throat, right and left, center.
Right.
These networks, man. I think what they do is they probably take money from the shows that they're actually making money on, and they funnel it into these worthless pieces of crap that they propagandize.
All right. You're absolutely spot on, and that's how they're able to continue. I agree with you. The successful shows, they're funneling all the money into these pieces of crap, and that's why Doctor Who. But thing about it is, Doctor Who and Picard is getting a second season now. He's already done as I said. Apparently, some of the writers, people have stepped down and stuff, and there's a new team coming in. So obviously, they know themselves that series season one. I say season one because in England we say series, or in Ireland we say series. So I'm confusing the situation. So I'll say season. So they've already commissioned season 2, right? So this crap is going to continue again. But here's the thing: who are they going to drag in for Series 2? And also, they know that Series 1 obviously wasn't that great because they wouldn't have got rid of the writers that were behind the scenes. If it was good, they'd stick by the writers and say, "Yeah, you're doing a great job." So they obviously know that this show right now is not great, but they're hoping that we all watch. And
Yeah.
obviously some of us are reviewing it and have to watch it. Obviously, I'm not giving them a view because obviously I'm being sent it, which is great. So I can say, yay. But there's still people that have paid for this service that are watching this crap. And it baffles me. Why are these people even paying for CBS All Access if the two shows are bad? Why is there even 200,000 people subscribed to this crap?
It's incredible. Well, okay, the reason I subscribe to CBS All Access, even though I don't live in America and I can't access it, because I don't want to. Honestly, it's not for Star Trek because I get that with Amazon Prime or Netflix. It's because it's because my kids like to watch Young Sheldon and I like Survivor. And I can download them without feeling guilty.
Myself. I love watching Young Sheldon myself now.
So there you go. That's the reason why. By the way, just change the subject wildly for a second. Maxo Marks in the chat asked if anybody's seen the Chibs parody film on YouTube.
We have.
It is freaking awesome. That's why I stopped the chat to talk about it. It's fantastic.
I want them to do a part 2 for Series 12.
Oh, I want them to do it for Discovery and Picard. I want to do it for everything.
Absolutely brilliant. He plays the part and all great. And when your man keeps saying to him about bringing back classic villains and all this, and his reaction to it and his contempt is just. But that's the way fans imagine Chris Chibnall. And you know what? Even though it is funny, might I add, it's actually sad in a way because that's how fans actually feel how Chris Chibnall is actually treating Doctor Who. And I think that's the message he was actually trying to get across, but in a comedic way. So we'd all, we'd all have a chuckle. But then when you think about it, I actually got very sad after that because that's the way I envisioned the way Chris Chibnall and his writing team treat Doctor Who. They just have no respect.
Too. But you know what? Think about this. Think how mad that parody that cost zero money to make has made Chibnall. He must hate it with AirPad. And again, I think if they did one with Kurtzman, it would be far better because Kurtzman is just like he's a wrecking ball of suck going through the universe. Everything he touches turns to crap.
Do you know what would be brilliant? If someone went to a con, they were there, and they somehow hacked the big screen and put that parody on the big screen while he's on stage in front of the whole audience and just watch his face. Oh my God. That would be the biggest F-U to Chibnall. Now,
I tell you, if they want me to buy a Jodie Whittaker DVD or Blu-ray, add that on as an extra with in-camera Chibnall's reaction.
Yes,
I would pay for that.
Yeah, that would be epic. Only I would try something like that, but I don't think they'd ever let me in any Comic Cons. I'd have to give a fake name, and I'd probably have to disguise my face now at this stage because even though I haven't been at one in England, I say as soon as I went over, they probably automatic ban.
Well, what can you do? People are very sensitive about you not liking the crap they want you to like.
Next week's episode anyway has a bit of action in it.
I can't even remember the trailer. What happened in the trailer? Do you remember?
Yeah, just a bit of shooting and a couple of spaceships chasing their spaceship and.
Oh stuff. Right, did we get the Romulan Bird of Prey yet? The original one.
I think it looks like that. I think so. I think you see glimpses of it. See, it's very dark. Have you noticed as well? Actually, Kurtzman Trek it's always dark, and as I said, those stupid lens flares again.
Oh, they're a nightmare.
JJ forced into CJJ. Don't get me wrong. For the first Star Trek movie of JJ's run, it actually did work. I didn't mind it as much. But now,
yeah, the casting was great in that.
yeah,
I still like Zachary Quinto as Spock. I thought he was great.
No, he is a good Spock, but stop trying to make Spock emotional.
Well, that's what I liked in that. Was it 2009 movie? They made him that there was that scene where he's turning down his acceptance to the Vulcan Science Academy, and he was like very cold and like unemotional, but he played it so well that you could hear like the rage going on beneath his eyes, which I really liked.
I did love that scene, and I did love the scene where he lost his mother, but there was just too look. Original Spock did show a bit of emotion, but it wasn't that often. In the new iteration of Spock, and I do like Zachary Quinto as Spock. I think he's the one that's actually done probably the most respectful job, to be honest with you. But just make him. Let's stop with the emotion. I don't want an emotional Vulcan because they're crazy, batshit crazy. They go around murdering people. Did you ever see those fuckers when they're on Pon Far? For God's sake!
Right.
Jesus Christ! I saw them twice. I saw Tuvok. He went through Pon Far, and then the young lad that was on Voyager that I can never think of his name, but he fancied Belana Torres. He went through Pon Far as well. You don't want an emotional Vulcan, trust me.
Yeah. Well, the reason they went for the whole emotion purge thing is because they're busy killing each other because of their emotions. Vulcan emotions are supposed to be far more volatile than human emotions.
True. Emotion is illogical, says Marco Max. I agree. Marx. I agree. It is.
Was it Chris Persia is asking? Do you know how long CBS would have to wait after the last Secret Hideout led show finishes before they can create something new under the license with someone following canon? So I think this ties into the rumor that Seth MacFarlane was trying to buy Star Trek with NBC.
Yeah.
So I heard somebody say that rumor is nonsense. Other people said, I think people want it to be true, but like the stuff he was planning on putting out was he had like a whole raft of shows, but the central show was essentially the Orville in the Star Trek universe, set in like the Enterprise timeline,
right?
Time zone. But like how long will they have to wait? I don't know. It's a good question. But I do think that's the most likely outcome of this Kurtzman Trek. I think maybe a year or two from now, there's going to be a fire sale where CB Viacom are going to need to raise funds and cut off things that are like was a Dragon Fund, and they're going to sell off Star Trek cheaply, hopefully to somebody who loves it.
I've got a question for you because there's two things that I've been made aware of. So. Any news, number one, on the Quentin Tarantino Trek, and what's the story with this this apparent other Trek show that they're supposed to be doing because Discovery's not doing too well? They were supposed to do another side show or something.
Well, Section 31?
I don't know what the name of it was. I'm just aware that
there's a bunch of things on the go.
Show.
So this is the current state of Star Trek as I know it. Tarantino movie almost certainly not happening. What a bummer! That I think that if they had any sense, if they wanted a bottom line and people to go and pay and see a Star Trek movie in the cinema, that is their best bet. To go do a Quentin Tarantino stuff. I don't care what it is. I want to see it, and we're never going to see it, and it's tragic.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's the Noah Hawley movie, which is also not happening. Noah Hawley's the guy who did Legion and Fargo. He wrote a script for a Star Trek movie, and it got turned down because it was too Star Trek-y.
Right.
Okay, fine. So then on
that makes
the TV side, we got Section 31, which apparently is starting shooting as soon as Discovery Season 3 wraps. Right. I will believe it when I see it, but I would believe it either way. They're toying around with the idea of doing a Captain, not Riker, a Captain Pike show.
Yeah, I've heard of the Pike one, all right, and a lot of fans actually want to see him back in the role as Pike because obviously he was on Discovery. Was it Discovery?
Discovery.
Yeah.
He was the
So-
only good thing about it.
That's what everybody was saying. He was the only good thing. Sure, he was great with the fans as well. Yeah, I'd be up for a Captain Pike spin-off.
Well, did you see the short trek I sent you with him in it?
I have them there. I haven't. I'm going to be honest. Haven't watched any of them yet.
They're so bad. They're so bad. You've got to watch them.
I am. I'm watching them after this stream. After I do this stream.
But after you watch them, you're just going to be mad. I'm telling you now. Watch it at a time when you can like be nice and calm. Go for a beer afterwards or something.
I might have a beer before.
They're just going to make you mad.
Yeah.
So
there was I had heard something about a limited series involving Khan's story.
Wow.
Oh, really? That'd be good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It was this was back in 2019. But yeah, they were supposed to. There was some talk about Kurtzman.
Oh, what was it? I missed one out. Lone Wolf pointed out. Lower Decks is the cartoon by the people who do Rick and Morty. That's coming out, I think, in this year, isn't it?
What is
the Star Trek cartoon called Lower Decks?
I didn't even know they were doing one.
Oh, it's like a comedy one again by the guy people do Rick and Morty. Let's see if I can. I'll find a link and put it in the chat. It looks pretty bad. It's in the current Star Trek timeline. It's in the Picard timeline, so they got the same stupid costumes. Hang on. Here, I just did a Google search for it. Let me put it in the chat. Hang on, and you can all see for yourself.
Yeah, he's right. In 2017. There was an article by, I'm looking at it here, by Digital Screen Rant. Star Trek Khan prequel series is reportedly being developed. Director Nicholas Meyer, who was actually involved.
Really? Nicholas Meyer? That's impressive.
Yeah, is reportedly developing a limited series revolving around the iconic Star Trek villain Khan Noonhin Singh. While Star Trek Discovery's launch date is right around the corner, it seemingly isn't the only Star Trek series being developed right now. Nicholas Meyer, the director of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Star Trek, 5, 6, 5, The Undiscovered Country, is reportedly developing a series spotlighting Khan, arguably the greatest villain in the franchise history. Meyer joined the world of Star Trek in 1982, and after critical and financial underperformance of the franchise as for cinematic outing Star Trek The Motion Picture, Meyer decided to craft a leaner, meaner sequel that would utilize one of the most memorable villains from the TV series.
Right.
Now, the article goes on and on and on, but let's see if there's anything up to date on this.
Well, this was what, 2017, you said?
Yeah.
When did Into Darkness come out? It was like 2015?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess Into Darkness would have, like, scuppered any hope of us seeing Khan again.
Well, there was the article that I was looking at was from 2019, and it did mention that Kurtzman and his people wanted to do it.
Oh God, no, not them!
Yeah.
The article, I have to admit, the article I have here now is from 2017, July 31st, but I will actually have a look and see. There's one from 2018. Nicholas Meyer gives an update on the Khan miniseries. 2018 seems to be the last time here. Hold on, I'll write in Kurtzman. See if it comes up. But you're right, Jason. There seems to be actually something in this.
Some rumblings of it.
I don't know. No matter how good the idea is, if you have Kurtzman doing it, just please save it to somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not very. I don't care who's doing it.
There it is. I think I have got it. Jason, I think is right there. It does mention the the Wrath of Khan in this article. So there must be something in it. He says he has a 5-year studio pact, and he will oversee the expanded Star Trek universe. So it's to expand even further. So yes, let me see. They may include the potential new shows are a series set at Starfleet Academy from creator
Right, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Stephanie Savage. A limited series whose plot details are being kept under wraps is another one. They just didn't go into any detail on that one for some weird reason. That could have been Picard.
Oh, it could be Prodigy.
And here it is there. A limited series based around the Wrath of Khan story. Khan's full name is Khan Noonan Singh. This is by Variety, and this article is actually Kurtzman himself, and that was July 19, 2018, and then he does give an update in 2019 and brings up the same thing again. So it looks like you're spot on, Jay. We wouldn't have known. Oh my God, no, don't do what? Why? No, don't touch. No, you don't touch him. You don't touch it, because you know what's going to happen. If they bring him back or bring that character back, they're going to have to bring back James T. Cook. Fuck's sake, they're old men.
No. You can set it in like the 21st century.
Well, they're probably going to set it early. They're going to tell his story from an earlier perspective. It's going to be like a prequel,
right,
so to speak.
Well, you're right anyway, Jason. So there's one that seems to be the planned part of the extended universe. Well done, Kurtzman.
Well, next thing he's moving on to Clarisse, what's the name, from Silence of the Lambs. So I'm just hoping that takes his attention away. Just do anything, and he want to do a Red Dwarf as well. So I don't know.
But honestly though, whoever were to take on the mantle of Khan, I don't care who it is. I'm not very hopeful. Like for the networks to look, if the networks actually got a hold of somebody who was willing and able to do it the right way, they'd probably say nah.
Exactly.
Nah.
Okay, if they did Khan, they would gender swap her, and it would be played by the woman from Modern Family. Was it Sofia Vergara?
The point. They won't give it to someone that actually understands the show. They'll give it to someone actually that's a lower pay grade, because you won't want to pay the person the money that they actually have to pay. This is what's happening with Doctor Who. We're getting mediocre writers.
I think what it is the guys who actually know how to write for these shows. The reason why they turn the script down is because it doesn't conform to the agenda. So they need to find a writer who is willing and able to write around
someone
the agenda.
That can mold themselves, someone that can control themselves, someone that will be a yes person for them, that won't question that and that they say. And you're right, that's exactly the type of people that they hire. And it's a shame.
So I have the feeling that even if it wasn't Kurtzman, it would be somebody that would just toe the line and go, yeah, we can accommodate you, sure.
Yeah, which is sad, because it's all about the agenda now and the politics. And well, Patrick Stewart is definitely using this as a vehicle to get his political points across, which is wrong. You shouldn't use a show, but we say that about Doctor Who all the time. But it's happening with other shows as well, and it's not. You concentrate on making good stories. That's
my point is, look, if you want to preach to me, at least give me some good actors and a good story. I mean, you can make the woman put a woman in the lead, fine, but make her a good actress, for God's sake. I mean, I may not like the message, I may not like the moral, but I mean, give me something watchable, and maybe I'll watch it. I might be entertained by it. I might not agree. I mean, how many musicians out there are actually liberals and they write liberal music, but I can still listen to their music because it's, some of it's good music, not today's music, but.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's what I mean. I just don't know. I mean, next week's episode now, I'll watch it, obviously. But, I mean, as I said, it is still keeping me a little bit interested because, as I said, I want to know what's up with this Romulan Nirak, whatever his name is. And I want to see if she actually does get better, because I did see a slight improvement in her this week. So I'm hoping she does get better, because if she does get stronger in this and the story gets stronger, then we might be okay with this show. But so far, I'm not impressed.
It's going to get worse. I think that I think it's almost certainly going to go way downhill very, very quickly. I think we're relying like this episode 3 was when you're on the roller coaster and you're just hitting the top, and that we're just gonna it's gonna be crazy.
You never know. You never know.
I'm kind of curious about the plot though. How her character, not her, I could care less about her, but how her character fits into this plot. This bigger plot of she's, because obviously in my mind, she's obviously the destroyer, no question. And how she fits in with the Borg and the Romulans and how that's going to play out. It's kind of, I'm curious. I am curious. And if they can, if they can redeem themselves in that regard, sure. I'm not going to, the characters are going to let me down, and Picard's an 80-year-old Picard. But, I would be interested to see if they can do it right, if they can at least, despite all of their, preaching and propagandizing, I am curious to see how the plot will thicken and how that will play out. That does have me curious. So in that regard, I think they've done something that's intriguing for me, but that's about it.
No, that's what I mean. I think there's just enough there. They've just past that threshold where there's just enough there just to keep you not turning off right now. And
honestly, if I didn't have my channel,
I know
be watching Star Trek.
You turn off after the 4. Let's be honest here. If we weren't reviewing this right now, we would probably turn off after.
I wouldn't have watched it. I honestly wouldn't have watched it. I probably, thanks to Rabbi, I was able to, but honestly, I wouldn't have. I mean, having watched it though, I mean, yes, I'm curious. Would I want to come back for a 4th helping?
No.
Probably not if it wasn't for the panel. But I mean, if I'm going to sit through it, I can't say I'm not curious. But would I go out of my way? No, not really.
I know. I watched the first episode of Lock and Key tonight before we started, and I would go back to that. We're just so used to seeing shows that we like, we think we like, we know we love, and we've loved all our lives, and they're just awful now. And a lot of it is I just keep watching things out of habit.
It'll be interesting to see though, right? Because we see this with 4 seasons of shows that have established history behind them, and the 4th season doesn't do too well. Do you think these guys will try course correct for season 2 though? That's the thing. Do you think these are capable of learning the lessons of the mistakes that they've made for the 4 season? Because they have made mistakes. There is some good elements in this. We're not slating it completely. There is enough in it to kind of keep you interested. I am interested in this whole Borg cube business and what they're doing with the Borg. Apparently, the other part is are they bringing them back to life? Are they
I don't know. I think some of the Borg are still alive, and they're just taking the Borg parts out of them. But if they're Romulan, they became Borg. They went nuts.
Well, the one that was on the table that Soji was whispering in its ear was dead.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're bringing him back to life, but what I'm curious about is, are we going to see the Borg come back? And are they actually going to be a menace again?
Well,
they still have the costumes, I guess.
But if they do come back, though, right? I don't want them to just come back for the sake of coming back. There better be a good enough reason why they come back.
But if they can do it for the right reason, though, I would be interested to see how that plays out.
Same here, because that Borg cube has extra technology on it as well. I'd love to see how advanced they are now. They'll probably do something. Watch, she'll probably be responsible for reactivating the Borg or something. That's why she becomes the monster of the universe, or the one, the destroyer. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe indirectly she doesn't actually destroy the universe. Maybe she does something. She thinks she's helping, and it reactivates the Borg or the Borg cube or something, and then all shit breaks loose.
Well, if I had to guess, though, and I'm probably not
I'm only
correct,
speculating as well.
but if I had to speculate about what I would like to see or what I think, like if I was to think about, okay, well, what are they trying to do? And I was to think about, okay, well, if they did this with it, maybe that's what they're trying to do, and if they did that with it, that would be interesting. Is like, you know, she somehow she has been, you know, she's like basically a spy who doesn't know it, and it's sort of like this Ruth from Doctor Who. You know, she activates and then she becomes whatever she is. She's forgotten who she is, but she was originally maybe used by perhaps the Borg. I don't know, and you know, that they have somehow or another she's connected with the Borg, and when she finally does activate, so to speak, it'll be at a time when the Borg are, you know, when they come back, when they actually make their entrance, and it looks like a lot of crap is about to go down. That would be, to me, that would be interesting, because that would look like, wow, this is going to be pretty serious. You know, you've got her, which who knows what she is. She's obviously the destroyer, whatever that means. But then you've got, if you did have the Borg come back at a time when she was activated, it just, you know, and all hell breaks loose at that point. So you've got Starfleet, which is, you know, has to become somehow involved again. That would be, to me, that would be an interesting, I don't know how they would do it. Don't ask me, but that would, you know, if it could somehow work its way in that direction, I'd be okay with that.
I just put up a comment there. I said, what if the Borg come back and this makes the Federation realize they need to go back to the principles that made Starfleet what it was? Because if you look at Starfleet now, they're far away from the principles that Starfleet actually have. What if the Borg is what makes them unite with the rest of the galaxy to fight these Borg, because they're obviously stronger Borg or whatever it is? But that's just me, because, you know, I can come up with things like this. And Jason,
well, what if that was used as a way to get Picard back into Starfleet to sort of, you know, rectify this whole situation? That to me would be interesting.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Again, they've got to portray Starfleet as being evil now, because Starfleet is America, and America in their mind is evil.
Right, but I mean, if we're going to bring Picard back, you said for a second season they may resurrect Picard as a captain. But if they were going to do that, it would be interesting to see him become resurrected as a result of the Borg entering the picture. They need someone, you know, to sort of take the lead. And one way, or I don't know how it would happen, but they would become convinced somehow that Picard would be the man to do it.
Exactly. Because right now they've made him a character that's basically flawed, that was responsible for this. And maybe this could be a way of redeeming his character. Bring the Borg back. Starfleet realize that they've become this racist bunch of idiots and need and then actually ask Picard to come back and help. And he unites the Federation and all the other planets that are obviously fell out, and they fight the Borg together. That would be, for me, would be the way for Jean-Luc Picard to go out. It would certainly fix this mess that they've done. But I do agree with Rabbi, though. That's the thing. They won't do something like this because the Federation has to be this evil empire now. It's actually sad looking at it, but that's what I would do. I would bring the Borg back in some capacity, and they have to go. The Federation have to come back on their hands and knees to Picard, because they have treated them poorly. I mean, they accepted his resignation, so this could be his way of, you know, saying, well, you know, I told you so. You should.
Well, one way they could possibly do it and still, you know, keep women in the picture as these authoritative figures is, look, we need you back, but here are the conditions, Picard. We need you back, but there are conditions with this. We don't want you to take command, but you have experience, and we're asking you to step in. But there's always a but, because they can't, you know, they have to be the overarching authority. So yeah, that would be one way they possibly could do it, is, you know, there are conditions, but they need him. You know, they don't want to admit it, but yeah.
I don't know. I just can't see them doing that. It sounds.
Would you be on board with that?
I'll be okay with that, but I just can't see them doing that.
That may not. I mean, I'm just talking about if I could project, and I'm just hypothesizing and sort of, predicting. Okay, this is kind of, if they did this would be interesting to me, and that would.
Oh yeah,
I hope they do that. Then yeah, I don't, whether they do it or not. Who knows.
I see Lone Wolf's comment there, and I agree with you. Yes, they maintain them for the most part, but what I would say now is, in this iteration, why have they totally abandoned every principle that made Starfleet? Because that's exactly what they've done. They're sending out hit squads, for God's sake. You know what I mean? And the Romulans have hit squads. There's no... All we got was a thing at the start when the show first started. We got this whole thing of Mars, right? That's all we got. That was the only context that we got, right? We got nothing else that told us why Starfleet has turned the way they have turned. That's why I have a problem with it. Again, it's got to do with continuity. It's got to do with respecting canon. And again, these guys don't seem to respect canon. You're getting people in that I believe, all right, all these companies do have agendas, but Jesus Christ, you don't have to change canon just to get your political or whatever message you want to get across.
But they do. That's the trouble. They think they do. Okay, the reason they haven't explained why the Federation is so fundamentally changed is because to them, in their bubble they live in, they know that Nazis have taken over America. They know it. It's clear. And anyone who doesn't know it has just had their wall pulled over them, or is a Nazi themselves.
Is it true?
Yeah, that's how they see the world.
Isn't 7 of 9 supposed to be making an appearance in this?
Yes, she is.
Picard? Yeah. I can't wait to see her appearance, because on Voyager, 7 of 9 was my favorite character for obviously for a couple of reasons.
I don't think she's in the same costume.
No, don't get me wrong. It wasn't just because but I actually preferred her in the remember that one episode, or that was a couple of episodes where she was traveling through time. Remember the starship from the time ship beamed her on board just before Voyager exploded from that bloody device.
That was the Year of Hell. Was it that one?
No, not Year of Hell. It was the one where the device was disrupting the ship's molecular structure. It was like there was different time zones on the ship. It was a time bomb. Remember Captain, what was it? Captain Praxis or whatever his name is. He ended up Future's End. He ended up on Earth. Do you remember Future's End Part 1?
Right. Yeah, I do.
Him. Well, there was an episode where 7 of 9, and she's basically being transported on Voyager at the time when this bomb was planted, right? But she wears the Federation uniform in it. She wears the blue uniform. She actually looks well, but I will say she does look cracking in the cat suit. I'm not going to lie. But she's Jerry Ryan, she's a great actress. I mean, she brought 7 of 9 to life. Do you know what? People criticize Voyager. They say that Captain Janeway stayed the same. I agree. But the two characters that developed the most, in my opinion, on that show was 7 of 9 and the Doctor. They were the only two characters, obviously, that were developed. I suppose, 7 of 9's character was developed more because I suppose she was with the producer at the time, but still, But
and also, look, I mean, she was eye candy, and she was bringing viewers to the show that they desperately needed. I mean, that's really the bottom line.
Yeah, true. She was brought in for the eye candy, but the thing about it is, she was actually a great actress.
She was great. No, the one where she was like having multiple personalities, and she was a little girl. Yeah. She was very good. But her function was to increase the viewing figures, and it succeeded. She was part of a major. That's why Janeway, the actress who played her, can't stand her. They were like,
couldn't stand her. Yeah, Kate Mulgrew. The two of them had a bit of a fall. Now, apparently they're friends now, but Garrett Wang, who plays what's his name again? Harry Kim. At a Comic-Con, there's a clip up on YouTube. You actually see he gets very upset when he's talking about. He's saying that there was a lot of tension on the set. She was more annoyed because obviously Jerry Ryan ended up having that relationship with what's his name, Rick Berman, and then she probably felt threatened as the older woman. But the two of them, when they were on screen together, they were fucking epic together. The two of them on screen together were brilliant. Best scenes, in my opinion, were with Seven of Nine and the Captain.
Right.
To be honest.
Again, that goes back to my premise that Star Trek is based around the bonds of relationship between the characters, not the characters themselves. I mean, the characters themselves as well, but it's that bond that holds them together, and that's what's really missing from Picard, because we can have no bond because we don't know. We only know one guy, and he's acting completely out of character in a world that kind of looks like Star Trek. But when you look at it in any if you put any detail at all, you go, that's not the world of Star Trek. So
Nah, this is definitely far removed from anything Trek. It really is. If it didn't, as I said, if it didn't have the name Trek on it and it didn't have Picard in it, it'd work. But because it does have Patrick Stewart in it and it is called Picard, that's where it fails, unfortunately.
Well, that's part of the big draw of this. I mean,
it's supposed to be, isn't it, Jason? The fact that they've gotten him in is supposed to be the big draw.
Yeah, because if you didn't have Picard, I mean, what do you? You've got to have another big name. I mean, to have the kind of impact they're looking for to draw people in. Otherwise, I mean, that's so again, the name Picard. If it was some other show, maybe it would work. Maybe it wouldn't. I mean, it just. But yeah, he was the biggest reason why the show had so much anticipation.
And unfortunately, though, he's not up to it.
Yeah, he's not up to it, and again, he's just wrapped up in his stupid political nonsense.
What? It annoys me because when I heard this was actually being done before I had actually heard anything who was involved in it, I just knew he was in it. I was actually very excited because obviously I grew up during the Next Generation phase. Obviously, I was too young for the original series, but obviously I did get to see all the original series. So my Trek was Next Generation. So I mean, when I heard he was coming back, I was actually over the moon. And now that he's back, I wish he hadn't come back.
It's what we say about everything. We're like, oh, that's coming back. I'm so excited. And then when they bring it back, like, oh God, why?
Well, but here's the thing. When I at first I wasn't sure what was up with it, but then I saw the trailer, and the original trailer for that was pretty. I don't know about you guys, but the original trailer for it was. It was pretty uninspired to me. I was like, oh, so let me see if I understand. It's Picard after his tenure on the Enterprise, living his life on a vineyard, and we're following a retired Picard on a vineyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That trailer came out because there was like some intense pressure going on to prove they were going to do something, because there's all the rumors that it would be cancelled, that the licenses wouldn't sign off on it, so they had to put something on screen, and so that's why you just got the stock footage of vineyards and like one shot of Patrick Stewart leaning into the camera.
But honestly, calling that a teaser,
it's
it's the antithesis of a teaser. I gotta say,
it was totally B-roll footage.
And Rabbi is probably right. It's probably all they could use at the time. But again, look at I don't know what it was like now, to be honest, because I live here in Ireland. But what was the promotion like for this? Because I know it premiered in London, and photographs I seen, it was absolute. There was barriers there, but you couldn't see any people there. It looked pretty empty, to be honest, which is sad for an iconic character like him. I just this should have just finished after Series 1, the season 1.
Maybe we'll get lucky and it will.
I don't know. They've already.
There's a season 2 on the horizon.
Keep going. How? How can you fail and still succeed? It's beyond me. I wish I could do that.
This one isn't this. I don't think this one is going down like Discovery did. I mean, it's, you know, and it's not going as far down so far. It hasn't, the ratings haven't dropped to Doctor Who level. So
they're still making Discovery.
Yeah, I know.
But
I guess what I'm saying, like this, if you look at the ratings on, if there's any trustworthy sites out there, I don't know, but if you kind of look at Rotten Tomatoes as a guidepost, or you look at IMDb, it hasn't done too badly in terms of reception from the audience score. So, you know, there's still a perception maybe in their eyes that, hey, look, it's, you know, we're not down to Doctor Who levels, and it's not Discovery. So, you know, the fans are a little receptive.
Do you know what I think it's down to, Jason? I think it's down to the fact that Patrick Stewart is in it, and everybody wants to see this succeed because he's in it, because he's such a legendary actor. You know,
well, they would probably give it a second season, whether it was a failure or not.
No, I do agree with you. But I do think that's the reason why some fans are actually watching this, because they want to see this succeed. They want to see him do well in this, and I make no bounds about it. I do want to see him do well.
But I do wonder, though, don't you kind of wonder if maybe, look, we come from a generation where there were really good actors, and the millennials now, look, nothing against young people. Okay, fine. But you're being raised at a time when there is a serious dearth of, I mean, back when I was growing up in the 80s, there was no dirt. Like every time you turned around, there was a good movie at the theater, right? And there was good acting. But it's getting a lot more difficult to put your finger on, like, wow, that's an actor. Now that's an actor, you know? So it's getting a lot more difficult. And I'm just wondering if maybe this generation has become acclimated, in a sense, to this subpar acting, and that is what they're willing to accept to some degree.
Yeah, and then they tried to put some shock value in by shocking fans with the dropping F-bombs and stuff. I mean, this is not part of Trek. You don't drop F-bombs. It's sunglasses on a Romulan, as I said earlier on. I mean, there's just such... And she calls him JL. JL. Oh, my God. I was like, this is cringe. JL, really? Are we gone there? This is supposed to signify that you have this great relationship, so you call him JL because it's personal. Sorry, I don't buy it. I don't even buy her as a character. Then she turns up right at the end, and he goes... Oh, and then his face lights up and he goes, delighted to see, I'm not here for you, I'm just hitching a ride. And I was like, get away, you grumpy old bitch. Throw her out with the airlock. Already she's annoying me, God's sake. And that doctor that they're bringing along, I'm telling you now, if she doesn't die in the next episode, I'll be surprised.
Oh, no, I think she's not around.
Yeah, she'll be around.
I know, but I'm just saying, I will be surprised if she doesn't even get shot in the arm or something.
Oh, she may take a bullet, but she's still going to be around. I have no doubt.
Seriously, man, you should have seen her after she shot the Romulan.
Yeah, but again, I hope this
was on stun. I hope this gun was on stun. Then the Romulan looks at her. No, Romulan.
They're gonna need her because she's the quote unquote whatever. What was it?
She's the expert.
She's the best of the best.
Yeah, she's the leading human.
Whatever.
Right.
She's the epitome of it. So they're gonna need her. They kind of set that up as, you know, they're gonna need her.
Yeah.
So she won't be going away.
I don't know who this girl is, by the way. She did black out again. We're we do know she's some sort of synthetic, but and obviously we know she might be the destroyer. Jason thinks she is. I would tend to agree with that one because that would be the obvious route.
Well, it'd be stupid not to make her the destroyer. What, she's the good guy? Like, what is so where's the drama in that?
Well, the drama would be they think she's the bad guy and they're trying to kill her.
I guess, but I mean, maybe so. I mean, I tend to think she's going to activate and some shit's going to hit the fan.
That what I just said there would be easy, but and the only reason why I'm saying that is because that's the route they'd probably go down because they're not as intelligent.
Well, you know, you could very well be right. You could very well be right. She could be. They're building her up to be the destroyer, and she may not be. There's this other side of me is like, well, they're kind of building her up to be like, how could you see her as being evil? You know, I don't know. So you could be right. It could be the other way. I guess I've just had it in my brain that, yeah, she's obviously the bad dude.
Colin Smith puts up, P. Smith puts up a good comment. I never really that bothered, but one of the reasons I lost interest was that interview with Patrick Stewart. Look, I just want to say,
yeah, you're right. That's exactly one of the reasons I
when it comes to actors and their personal political beliefs, it never used to bother me, but it bothers me now because I'll tell you why. Because not only do they have those personal political beliefs, they're putting them in the TV shows that they're in. And they shouldn't be doing that. I don't care what political beliefs he has. He has the right to have them. But make the show that you're making and keep your own personal political beliefs out. Just like Jodie Whittaker does with Doctor Who. She uses it for her own political beliefs. You need to leave that shit out and just write good stories. But I do think this show has come 10 years too late for Patrick Stewart.
Oh, yeah, totally. You know, what you're saying about political beliefs, so the opposite is also true. I struggled through watching the, The Witcher. And I struggled. I liked it at the end, but it took me like 4 episodes to really get into it. But the reason I invested into it is because, what's his name? Henry Cavill. He was just so good at promoting it.
I heard it's actually a good show now.
I quite like it. I mean, listen, I'm watching the 2nd season. I've
played the games now. I've never read any of the books, so I'm going to be honest there. But I have played the Witcher games. So, and I do like Henry Cavill. I think, he's my favorite. So don't get me wrong. There's only one Superman. Well, there's 2 in my eyes: George Reeves and obviously the great Christopher Reeves. But in that pile goes Henry Cavill, in my opinion. I just absolutely adore him as Superman. So Anthony's ever in, I'll support. I don't know. I only know about The Witcher by playing the games, right? So I'll be going into this blind. So I don't know. People have said that there's a bit of wokeness and all in that.
It's really not much. It's less wokeness than Lost in Space.
But here's the thing. That's what I was going to say to you. I think as a viewer now, I think we have to kind of pick shows. Every show is going to have some level of wokeness. We've got to kind of pick the ones that are, that are more tolerable to us. So we'll have to go and start choosing TV shows based on the level of wokeness they have. Basically, if they have less wokeness, we watch. I actually like Lost in Space.
Do that now.
The only thing I don't like about Series 2 is, because I think Jason's still watching, so I won't say that. Actually,
about what?
Lost in Space.
Oh, I don't care.
Well, no, that's what I'm on episode 7 of season 2.
Yeah, but there's a running team in it. Have you noticed the running team in it?
Right. The woman being in charge. They basically swapped John and Maureen Robinson.
No, the running team is that everybody seems to rely on this one family for everything. In the whole it's serious. Like that goes wrong, only the Robinsons can save the day.
I know. Where I'm right with it right now is they brought Dr. Smith much more into the center. Oh, hey, how's it going? What's his name again? I can't remember.
Teddy,
thank you. Hello, Teddy. I feel bad I forgot your name.
There you go. Now we've got the K9 on. So, Ted, I was watching Picard. Tell them, did you like Picard? There you go.
There you go. Teddy speaks for all of us, I think.
I didn't hear a bark.
Now, listen, hold on. Teddy, are you looking forward to Doctor Who on Sunday? Oh, he's freaking out. See what I mean?
I get the feeling he's got to use a bathroom.
He's a poor animal.
See that?
Okay, I think we're meeting back here probably. I'll meet back on your channel tomorrow.
Yes.
24 hours from now.
Yes.
I think it's a good idea for us to get some sleep in between.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting episode because I've released some screenshots of.
No, I haven't seen it.
I'll put a video up. I'll send the video to you, but there's upcoming screenshot. It looks very cheap, guys, and they've got the neon.
I hope the figures go down further.
Oh, but good news for you. It's got a bit of good news for you. A little bit of it seems to be in space.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so we might actually get a little bit of that. Oh, sorry, Ted. We might actually get a little bit of outer space. Here's your Teddy. Go on, play with your Teddy.
Might give that episode a -9.
Yeah, well, I will be looking forward to hear what you have to say tomorrow for that episode. It's gonna be. I'm not looking forward to it. That's all I can say. But next week's episode has a weird title. So I'll go back to the weird titles now. Sorry for the dog in the background, folks. He thinks his toys is in the kitchen, right? But I've put them all in a new basket now, and they're all out on the floor. But yeah, he still thinks there's something up on the shelves there. And I think his Manny is coming out now to make sure what's going on. Here she is. Yeah, he's just barking for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, so we'll have the panel tomorrow night. Obviously, looking forward to it. But this episode, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Yeah, honestly, there's very little of Star Trek, Doctor Who, Star Wars that I am looking forward to.
Well, you know what? We've only got after this episode, we've only got
3 episodes to go. Oh, well, Picard, we've got 6 episodes though. So Picard is less objectionable right now than Doctor Who, but I can't imagine it's going to stay that way.
Well, actually, nearly. Before we go, I'll ask you two guys this question: which show is better right now?
Oh, no question. Picard is infinitely
Picard.
better show.
Yeah. In terms of a show, Picard, obviously.
Yeah, that's sad.
And if you're comparing Discovery to Doctor Who, it's much harder.
Yeah.
Because they're both really dumb. Yeah. They're both really dumb. Yeah, what's worse? Picard is the best of the steaming pile of crap that they've been giving us for the last few years.
That's it.
Yeah. It's the top of the pile of crap.
It's the best way to put it.
It really is. I think that's the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, for me, it is 4 minutes to midnight. I have to go to bed. I've got to be up in like 5.5 hours.
Right. I give this episode a 2 out of 10 anyway, just if you're interested.
This episode, I know, in terms of an episode, it's bad Star Trek. It's bad for Star Trek. It's okay for TV. So as a Star Trek episode, I have to give it a -6.
Right.
As an episode of TV, if it wasn't Star Trek, I'll give it like a 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Would you? Oh, I'm not giving it the lowest rating. Actually.
You mean as just a TV show, independent of Star Trek?
Well, I rated it a bit as a Star Trek.
No, just independently of Star Trek. What would you give it as a TV show in its own right?
On its own. All right. If it wasn't, well, I did say if he wasn't in it, and so
right.
Yeah.
No,
right,
but I mean he's in it. And...
I'd probably give it a 4, but no more than that.
Sounds about right.
No more than that.
All right, so we all agree.
But as a Trek series, as a Trek episode, I'll agree, which is all it is. It's in the minus territory there. But again, it's not as bad as Doctor Who right now. There is some interesting
right
going on. I just hope the characters, but I do agree. I don't see this getting better, but I just fingers crossed it does. But when you hear a show's had multiple reshoots, it never.
It's not a good sign, is it? It's not good.
No, it's not. Right.
All right. Let's wrap up. One thing I want to thank everybody for turning up in the chat. Chris Persia, Colin B. Smith, Lone Wolf, Maxo Marks, Rebecca. I can't remember your name. It was Rebecca Sanger. I'm going right to the top now.
Gold.
Oh, was it Gold? What was her name?
Rebecca Gold, or Mega Geek, as we call him.
Okay.
Wolf is there as well.
Right, garbage. If I miss anybody out, I apologize. We'll get you on the next live stream. Again, meeting up tomorrow on the TARDIS Zone about 24 hours from now. I'll just attach the electrodes to my nipples so I can prepare properly.
Yeah,
for how it's going to be.
That's it. And we might need a couple of defibrillators as well after.
Right.
Might need to bring ourselves back to life after tomorrow's episode. So yeah.
So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for coming.
No problem at all.
See you guys later.